creative automation is really what we're talking about here. Is what is the process by which we can take that static creative and we can make it perhaps into some dynamic collateral that we can then alter and utilize for our needs. And as we talked about, there's myriad of ways that we can utilize that once we've got that created. So, I mean, in the simplest instance, we're talking about, taking a static thing and then saying, this headline here, that's changeable. Now, is it changeable that somebody can type something in themselves, or is it changeable that we're going to go and pick a set of headlines from another part of the database and incorporate them? The same with the imagery. So really, it's looking at each of the elements and deciding what would we like to do with that. Would we like that just to be fixed on the design, or would we like would we like the system to automatically fill that in? So an example would be, say, a business card. So you could have, traditional ways we would set every business card with people's names on and we print it all. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. You could have a business card that you presented to your end users where there was fields to type in, so they could fill in their name and their title and their job function. Or you could have it so that that's keyed off their perhaps single sign-on system. So automatically when the user logs into the platform knows who they are. So by the time they get to see their business card, well, the business card is just set for them. Now, they might think that that's been pre-made, but it hasn't. That's made on the fly, but there's nothing for them to change. So they can't get anything wrong. It's bringing in all the kind of the central information about that user. And if you can imagine extending that could be address information, that could be pricing information. So the system can, using, its own intelligence, can be putting together a lot of this material for you. And then it just leaves the last bits, which are perhaps the bits that, the user needs to make a decision on. Perhaps we're talking about the example a moment ago with fitness classes, the time they're running the class, or kind of what's special about the class. They can do that bit, but all the other stuff, setting out the map of how to get there, the opening times, everything, that can all be automated. So really, you can use all of these parts together to really minimize what the end user has to enter into the system to support it, but absolutely make sure that every single piece is correct up the flow.
I see. So, but I guess there's another challenge. I've got, banner ads and posters and logos and landing pages and video and all that kind of stuff that needs to get changed. So that I think is still a challenge, right? Or how do we overcome that?
Well, again, if with some pre-thought to that, when the templates are created, for example, take the logo. Let's just take a very simple example. You can have it so the templates are all linking to perhaps a logo in one central location. So this could be in your existing DAM system. This could be perhaps inside the platform, which is the case with our system. We can support both of those scenarios. So if that logo is changed, it will immediately be reflected across all the pieces that are produced from that point going forward. So imagine we are changing a logo. The very next post or the very next ad that's run off the system will incorporate that logo automatically. So it goes a huge way to sort of solving that particular problem, because otherwise, you're right, somebody would have to go and speak to every single creative and production agency and go, right, we're changing this. Make sure if anything comes through, this is altered. And for all the reasons we discussed earlier, there's lots of chances of mistakes there. This is in the kind of the source output that's being produced. It's going to make that change sort of at the center. So
if that changes, if terms and conditions changes, and then an alert goes out to the team saying, hey, we've changed it, get what you need, I can just go into the system and sort of get it and
absolutely.
It's done.
So if you knew there was terms and conditions changing, you just need to run off your output again, which it could be you just go back to the one you did previously and say reorder, and when you reorder it, it'll update it for you automatically. So perhaps there's nothing to do. The same with imagery as well. If the imagery has changed, so imagine you were using something that you had image rights for a certain period of time. Or if you go back onto the system, you can order the same piece, and if there's a new image to replace that, the system will just replace it automatically. So that's sort of a huge side benefit, is it makes sure nothing is ever out of date.